Shutdown day 22, and small businesses are sounding the alarm. Owners are concerned about the impacts to their bottom line, especially those who rely on federal agencies or contractors. Live pictures right now of Capitol Hill. The shutdown already won for the record books. It's the second longest in U.S. history. And while history shows us shutdowns don't have much of an effect on the markets, that doesn't mean that people aren't feeling the pain. And that means many small businesses, they have no choice but to pull back on spending, and they're going to deal with some long-term pain as well. Rebecca Contreras is with us, President and CEO of AvantGarde LLC, based in Texas. Thank you for being here. I know you're here on business in the Chicago area, and we're talking about air traffic controllers and TSA agents and all of those who are affected by the shutdown. Small businesses, I think a lot of people probably don't realize that they rely on government contracts, and this is a serious pain point for them.
It is. Well, thank you, first of all, for having me. I feel like I was talking to my team, and I feel like there's so much significant impact to our employees that I have to be a voice for small business. And a lot of people don't realize, Marty, that 78,000 small businesses serve the federal government. It's a pretty big metric, and they've had to lay off. We've had to lay off over 1 million workers. These are all middle-class, low-income Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck. In my business in particular, we have half of our practice laid off. We have about 110 employees spread across different states, including the D.C. and Texas area. And they're hurting. And we're hearing from our employees that they can't pay their rent, they can't pay their bills. The stories that are coming out of this are heartbreaking for our leadership team. And as a small business owner, I had to speak out on this issue that's crucial for people to be educated about the true impact beyond just the federal workforce. Unlike the federal workforce that will get back pay when the government opens up, we don't. We lose that revenue to the tune of millions and millions of dollars.
How far down the road, Rebecca, into this shutdown, we're in day 22, did those decisions have to be made for your company, for example, to lay people off? I mean, I'm sure that you did everything you could before having to make that tough choice.
Well, so my partner and I were very deliberate. I have worked in government before as a former White House official, so I understand being on that end of things. I understand the crucially difficult decisions that are made by various political officials, including members of Congress. We have always been sort of progressive in terms of getting out front. We knew that a shutdown was coming, and every year we deal with a shutdown. I feel like we haven't had a normal budget in over a decade. But we got out front, and we provided employees that have substantial leave, provided leave bank. So we did a leave bank, and we had employees that were impacted. They were able to tap from that leave bank. We have personally, as owners, my partner and I have now implemented a bridge gap loan, which is a zero interest loan, where out of our own money in our own pocket, we are loaning our employees money. What I'm hearing is that they're going to their banks, and because they're not federal workers that have back pay coming, they're not getting loans. And more than that, these are people, single moms, these are hardworking Americans that are working paycheck to paycheck. They can't afford to pay back a high interest loan. So we have triggered, more than half of our impacted employees have applied for that zero interest loan. We are committed to our workforce. We love our people. And so we're trying to do the best we can, but I'm here to really be a voice to ensure that members of Congress understand this is a huge impact to small business, and they have to do their job. While they're getting paychecks, our employees are not. And millions of Americans, including federal employees and contractors, are being impacted by this.
I'm glad that you're shining a light on this, not just for Congress, but for our viewers and for the American public to understand, because as you and I were talking in the commercial break, I mean, small businesses are the lifeline, right? The bread and butter of our country, and it makes up so much of our communities. Two questions. One, what kind of relief might small businesses see from the government at the end of this, if any? And what can people at home do to support small businesses to help pump money in right now in this interim?
Well, so unfortunately, we will not be able to back bill the government. My business alone, and we're small, we're still under the small business category, we will lose about $2 million that's unrecoverable. Employees will lose, as of today, we've lost $400,000 in income to our employees that will never see that income again. So we're talking real impact. But I think members of Congress should, if I were as a former White House official and now as an entrepreneur, listen, let's lock ourselves in a room and get some decisions made for the American people that are common sense decisions. But we don't have a recourse. I'm told that we will not be able to get back pay. Our employees, if they're not boots on the ground providing the support, we don't get to bill. So we have a time and materials type contracts, which means you deploy an employee to an agency and then you bill for that employee. So we will not have the recourse. We will lose millions and millions, and more importantly, our employees will not have the ability to recover that lost income. I have a single mom who, and another single parent that called, reached out last week. They just took on their aging parents, and now they're responsible not only for themselves, but for their aging parents, and they cannot pay their bills. So it's a real tragedy. And my call of action is, if you are an American and you care about normal, working, hard-working Americans, call your member of Congress. Demand that they do their job and pass the spending bill. We can do this. We are America, the greatest country in the world, and we should care about everyday Americans.
Yeah, politics always seems to get in the way, and small businesses are our lifeblood, and life doesn't stop when the government stops,
Correct.
right? People still need to pay their bills. Rebecca Contreras, thank you so much for shining a light on this issue. I'd love to keep that conversation going with you, so keep us posted.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I
Shutdown.
so appreciate your advocacy as well.
All right, good to see you.